Well, okay.
So yeah. How do you guys want to? Do you want to just?
You can just go by paragraph if you want.
Yeah. Do you want to just like read through it and then dissect it, kind of thing? I feel like that would honestly be the easiest way to go through it.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Paragraph by paragraph.
Cool.
That's good.
Sweet. Just pull it up.
So you just want to like read a paragraph and then go through it?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just pulling it up.
Okay, I can just start then.
Cool.
Boeing Co. is one of the world's leading commercial aircraft companies. It designs and builds the majority of the aircraft that airlines use on a daily basis. Bill McCann, the airframe and aerodynamics project manager for 929, Boeing's newest and greatest aircraft. As the project manager, Bill is in charge of designing, testing, and certifying the airworthiness of the aircraft. Just read the next one, because that's probably where actual stuff will be. Because it is a new aircraft, Bill is one of the best on his team, so he's pulled many people from various departments in the Boeing Corporation. However, Bill feels that the ace up his sleeve is a team of 3 European engineers who previously worked for Airbus, Boeing's biggest competitor based in France. They felt that their ideas for use of composites were undervalued, which resulted in them leaving Airbus and being hired by Bill.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with that, unless.
Oh, they probably needed to go make sure they had non-compete clauses or things like that.
Right.
Or just hiring somebody like that.
Just no.
But there was nothing like, so far legally, nothing has been written that was illegal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can read the next one. Was that Jake?
I'll read the next one. It's we're on the third paragraph, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Things flowed naturally for the first few months of design, but then Bill's team ran into several design snags. One night, after poring over calculations and designs, one of the European engineers, Richthofen, kept claiming he had a genius idea. If the engines were placed closer to the fuselage and the wingtips were swept back, it would be more efficient. Bill asked Claus where the idea came from, to which Claus said Airbus did the same thing with the C-450, their newest airliner intended to compete directly with the 929. Bill just laughed and said, well, it's a good thing we now have you working for the light side these days, and thought nothing more of it as he signed off on the new design.
Cool.
Somebody's another company's design.
Just a couple red flags there. No big deal.
I think that's called a breach of duty. No, yeah, it's either breach of duty or breach of loyalty or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I think it's breach of loyalty. Yeah, I don't know. Quentin probably know better, but
no. Oh, he doesn't even know if there's a patent on that design. The way
right. I think though you could probably assume that that's not allowed, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if Airbus is already doing the same thing with the C-450, like it's already being done, then it's, I mean,
there's probably
a patent pending on there, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the first red flag. I guess we could start a Google Doc and like write this down if you guys want.
Yeah.
I'll make one really quick.
So no, start reading
right? A lot of the questions from the test is coming from this problem, isn't it?
I think all of the questions. Is that not correct?
I think that's what I read.
Yeah. So I feel like if we just identify all of the possible issues and just write them down, I feel like that's pretty good prep.
Does someone want to start reading paragraph 4?
Well, because of the requirement for fuel efficiency, that would be powerful yet not be gas guzzlers. He sent Michel, one of his team members, to discuss possible solutions with 3 major engine companies: CE, Rodron, and Pratt & Whitney. Her visits to CE and Rodron went smoothly, and Michel was highly impressed. The last stop was with a classic engine company, Pratt & Whitney. Things were going well until Michel overheard an engineer mumble to himself, as if a girl could understand this stuff. Furious, Michel left the test early, and while waiting in the car at a stoplight, she got on Twitter, which is followed by many people, including many airline executives. Pratt & Whitney is a completely sexist company that does nothing but con its customers into buying faulty engines. Many industry analysts who read this post retweeted it to others to show their support of her expertise. Well, one, she made a statement without a fault statement about selling faulty product.
It comes back to that thing that we did in our 21st century case, where like you can't like smear a company's brand or name based off the actions of a few. I can't remember what that was called though.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Okay. I can read the next one. Unless, I guess, so then what are all the, so I guess, what was all the illegal activity that Michel did? She smeared the company.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Okay, I can read the next one. Back at Boring headquarters, Bill was trying to figure out ways to get a leg up on competition. The project had already fallen behind schedule, and Bill was worried that the 2008 release date would not be met. It was only February 2006, and he was not confident that their deadlines would be met. This was crucial because their advertising group had been heavily introducing the world to the concept of the 929, and orders were pouring in daily. Bill recognized that a pilot-friendly cockpit would be a great asset. Having powerful technology would be crucial. He had an old friend who worked for Rockwell Corp, an investment company, so he gave him a call. Bill's friend, Lee, discussed possible options, and Bill was impressed with what he saw, noting that Rockwell possessed a one-of-a-kind technology that would take years to replicate. However, he expressed his concern that if this technology were released to Airbus, Boring would lose the competitive advantage. Lee assured Bill that if Boring wanted the cockpit technology first, only Boring would get it. The only catch was that several parts of the navigation system came from Harris Corp, which had deals with Airbus to provide the same type of navigation. Lee told Bill that he would talk to the guys over at Harris and convince them to cut ties with Airbus and deal only with Boring to keep America's money in America. I don't think that's illegal, is it?
No.
No, that sounds pretty fair game to me.
Weren't they using somebody else's agents?
What was that?
They were using somebody else's instruments that they were using in the 929. Or the...
Well, I think that there might be a conflict of interest with Lee.
Yeah.
Because like that's like an insider trading issue, where if they're gonna do this new advancement, then Lee would have a head up on the competition. He could invest into it.
Yeah, but they were also saying it's going to take 2 years to replicate that instrument panel too, which means that they probably didn't have the ability to use it at that time.
It's true.
True. Cool. Who wants to read next? Or I guess,
Next one.
do we need to write anything down in regards to that?
Not that I can see. The next one. Many years passed, and finally the 929 prototype was released. Before it was certified airworthy, it had to undergo several tests. One was a low pass test, meaning the aircraft flies at full power only 200 feet above the runway. The first 6 were successful, but on the 7th flight, the right engine cowling caught on fire and then collided with a bird. The plane crashed, killing both the test pilots. The family of the pilots filed separate lawsuits against Boeing for negligence, saying that it didn't do enough to keep the birds away from the test site. For Bill, this accident was devastating not only for his project, but his stock, which fell significantly. The finance department sent out an internal memo informing him that the corporate revenues were going to be announced the next day as being lower than projected. That night, Bill told his wife the news in hopes to get consolidation. She did console him after getting off the phone with their stockbroker telling her to sell 50% of Boeing shares.
Insider trading.
Insider trading.
Yeah.
Okay, scratch that down. Paragraph what? 5, 6?
6.
Okay.
So would it be negligence that they didn't keep the birds away?
Yeah, probably. Like, that's their job. And birds are like such a common way for pilots to die. That's
But they also said that they didn't do enough to keep the birds away from the test site.
yeah. So that would be negligence, right?
Negligence, yeah.
All right. I can read the next one. Nevertheless, Bill and his team pressed on. Finally, after more tests and successes, the 929 was certified as airworthy. The next step was to actually build the aircraft to fill orders. It was 2010 and there had still been no deliveries made to customers that were promised a 2008 delivery. This was a result of Rodron not having their engines ready for mass production by the time Boeing needed them, thus putting the project behind significantly.
That would be a breach of contract.
Yep.
Well, can anyone remember what the time limit was on that? Like, does it have to be?
I don't remember specifically.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm talking 2 years later. Come on. That's 160, 161. Doesn't really say from what I'm seeing. Prime performance. Guess if it was written in the contract a time, then they'd be able to get out of it. But if it's not written in there, and it's just an implied condition.
Mhm.
Okay.
You ready for the next paragraph?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Bill went with his team in the 929 to the 2011 Paris Air Show with hopes of enticing potential buyers. He also took several young and animated salespeople and a crew of mechanics to act as his team. While at the show, many airlines showed interest in purchasing the 929. One airline from Russia, Aeroplan, had great interest in this plane. So the representative, Mikhail, was very pleased when he was told that he could order up 15 new 929s. So he sought out a Boeing employee. He found one, Jim Bezos, a mechanic working on a plane's de-icing system. In his broken English, Mikhail asked if he could place an order. Jim saw that all the other sales reps were busy, so he told Mikhail that it was possible that all he had to do was write down his phone number, email address, and the number of planes he wanted. Mikhail used the poor Russian economy that necessitated the Aeroplan salespeople to also work as mechanics to cut costs, supplied Jim with the information, and thought that he had a contract. Jim, thinking that Mikhail would recognize him as a mechanic, took the info down to help the salespeople out and only intended to pass on the information to a salesperson, which he did.
I think that one thing that is wrong there is he's assuming that the mechanic is an agent
Right.
that can sell 99s, and he's not. And then also, like if he were to ever sue against him, they could plead negligence because that he wasn't able to fully understand the situation.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I can read the next one. Unless anyone else has any thoughts or comments. Yoke. Sorry, I think I've lost my. What's the first one?
Third one down from the bottom.
Bill. Okay. Oh, sorry. Is it while this transpired? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
While this transpired, another salesperson was discussing potential sales with a representative for a U.S. flight corporation. The discussion was friendly and resulted in an order being placed by U.S. Flight Corporation. However, there were some stipulations with the sale. In order for U.S. Flight Co. to obtain aircraft and for Boeing to maximize profits, they had to hire only Boeing mechanics to repair the aircraft and also promised to purchase Boeing aircraft exclusively for the next 10 years. U.S. Flight Co. has used both Boeing and Airbus aircraft in the past, but because the price for the 929 was a reasonable $57 million per aircraft, and the plane showed great promise with U.S. Flight Co. Representative agreed to the U.S. Flight Corporation representative agreed to the terms of the sale. Needless to say, the Paris Air Show was a profitable trip for Bill, his team, and Boeing.
Sorry, did you guys lose me halfway through that?
I don't know. But yeah. Now, are the simulations illegal or?
I don't know, because I could see them mandating that only boring mechanics could repair the aircraft.
Yeah, which makes sense. I'm just wondering, what was the term for that? Like
10 years.
it was on our last. What? Sorry.
Then they had to do it for 10 years, and I don't know if you can do it that long out.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
So
There's a term
they
for.
have to do borings people, even if it's for their other aircrafts from Airbus.
I think. Well, I think that they're saying they're not going to deal with Airfuss anymore.
Okay.
Unless
That's
it's
fine then.
Yeah, I just don't see how they could mandate another company to exclusively only buy their aircraft.
Yeah, that seems like not allowed. It's definitely makes sense, like saying, hey, all the aircrafts that you buy from us have to be serviced by our employees. That makes sense because they're trained in that type of aircraft. But saying, and you'll only buy from us for the X amount of time.
I don't think that's legal.
That's against the anti-competitive laws, and like the Clayton Act and all that stuff.
Right.
All right, I can read the next one.
Go ahead.
Upon return to his office in Seattle, Bill was called in to talk with the VP of airport sales, and she was not happy. She told Bill that Jet Turquoise Airlines had filed a price discrimination lawsuit and that they were being charged $60 million for $929, price higher than the quoted to U.S. Flight Co. It was vindictive move to push Jet Turquoise for traditionally having all Airbus fleet.
Come on, it's only $3 million more.
Only.
But I don't know. I think that's legal. They could sell.
I think if it
depending
was
on
like
how many.
the same in every aspect, if there's different quantities, then they're allowed to do that, right?
Yeah, because this isn't like flour or salt, sugar, things like that that we talked about a few weeks ago,
Okay.
where you can't do a price fix like that. But I think what they're trying to say is they're trying to push the other company out of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see where they did anything wrong myself.
Yeah, it just sounds, a little shady, but not.
Well, it's like, are you going to sell it? If Walmart's going to buy, an extra million TVs from me and Target, I'm going to give Walmart a better deal.
Right.
Yeah. Could prove that they were trying to run them out of business or whatever.
Yeah, that's going to be the hard part, proving it.
I think the issue is that they locked the U.S. flight company into that 10-year contract, and so they're basically creating their own monopoly. And so by overcharging this company, then they're going to have U.S. flight will be the only airline in service.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Okay. we have one more, or was that it?
It just says Bill's head was hurting from his
Just
setback.
sums it up. There's
Who's
9%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, we could probably get Bill on a narcotics case, and we can pursue that route if we want.
Trying to
I mean,
overdose
you know
on
what
aspirin.
aspirin's code these days. Okay, so insider trading, breach of loyalty, smearing, breach of contract. What else?
With the smear camp of the company, there's also probably a sexual harassment case that can be made.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Where would that be?
That's when the guys made the comment about a woman not being able to understand
Yeah.
the engines.
Even though she doesn't work there, they can still go after her. Or you could go after them.
Is there anything else we need to go over?
I think that's it.
That's it. I'm just trying to think if there's.
Do you know if there's anywhere that we submit the link for this video?
I don't think we submit it.
Okay.
There's no place for a submission.
Cool.
Did you record it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I did just in case.
Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere to submit it, but probably good to keep it.
It doesn't say anywhere to submit it, so.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right.
Good luck on the final,
Yeah, you
guys.
too.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.